Hey guys, Hector Castillo here, Poppy from girlschase.com. Today I want to talk about being a fearless man and the steps that you can take to become a fearless man. I have 5 steps envisioned for how you can slowly work back to the origins of fear and then cut through them. And then I'll give you a concrete example while working with those examples to make it more concrete and to make it more relatable. Now, the root of all fear is the fear of death. But what is the fear of death? Let's examine it. Firstly, when I think of the fear of death, it's the fear of loss. It's the fear that when you're laying down and you're breathing your last breaths, everything just slowly goes away, and all of your possessions, all of your friends, all your loved ones, you're not going to see them again because whatever this is, it's about to go bye-bye. But even scarier than that is the fear of the unknown. Because if you knew that as your eyes are closing, and you're gonna breathe your last breath, and you smile because you know that you're gonna lose all of this, but waiting for you is something better. Or at least something in general, something concrete, something that you know. But it's the unknown part of it that scares the fucking shit out of us because we don't know what awaits us. Is it another life? Is it a bunch of light? Is it fire? Is it ice? Who knows? And so the unknown scares us. And how does that work in daily life? How does the fear of death have anything to do with approaching a fucking girl or asking for a raise in the job? Because you don't know what happens outside of it. So it literally has the same identity as death. When you go to approach a girl, as you're taking those steps, you don't know what's gonna happen. And so it's just a black nothingness of unknown. And death is the same way. So even though death sounds like an extreme example, they're both equal in their identity of ignorance. So when you approach a girl, is it gonna go well? Is it not? I don't know, but I'm fucking scared to death, right? Look at our language. It reveals our fears. Scared to death, but I talked to her, it goes bad. Oh, fuck. But if you would have known that before, well, you just wouldn't have done it. If you know it went well, then you would definitely do it. But it's the unknown part that scares the shit out of us. Going to get a job interview. Am I gonna get the job? Is it my dream job? What I wanted? Oh my God, is it gonna happen? No. Okay. Or yes, but we don't know. And so all of our fears of romance, of life, of our profession, of our arts, of our socializing, of our friends, it's all scary as hell because we have no idea what's gonna happen. And this fear of death has a connection to a fear of loss in a different sense, not in the fear of the loss of the body, but in the fear of the loss of our pride or of our ego. Now, the second root of fear that we deal with on a daily basis is the fear of shame. If you want to see this from the fear of death perspective, it's more of an extension of it. You're fearful that your identity, that your ego, that your sense of self is going to die. Shame is the feeling of, and you've had shame before. It's hot and you kind of just want to like cower and you don't want anyone to see you and you look down and you avoid eye contact and you freeze up. That's shame, that's guilt. And so that is a death of our sense of self. And so we fear that if we go up to a girl and get rejected, she's rejecting who I am. She's rejecting my sense of who I am and says, you are not worthy. And so that fear of shame keeps us from approaching a girl, from asking a girl out, from asking for a promotion, for a raise, for putting ourselves out there on YouTube. Whatever it is, our fear of shame keeps us from acting, and so this video is obviously meant for you to cut through that fear. So fear of death and the fear of shame, if you can overcome them, and it's hard to totally overcome them, but if you can at least wither its influence, then you can act more freely and do the things that you want to do. Now, those are logical excisions of feelings that keep us from acting. And so emotions, right? So we have the fear of death, the fear of shame, but emotions in general are tethers that keep us from acting in a free and spirited manner. And so when you have logic, it can cut through emotions because it isn't clouded by these tethers of whatever emotions are in actuality. They aren't rooting us in place. So with logic, you can go, whoop, nope, I should do this because it's the right thing to do. And regardless of how I'm feeling, I go and do it. So we need to be able to cut through emotions when they crop up in the moment. And of course, that takes practice. But as long as you know that your emotions can lie to you, and they very often lie to you, right? That girl, oh, she's going to reject me. You walk up, boom, you say hello. Oh my God, she actually she smiles, she likes me. What's going on? Your emotion lied to you, okay? So logic can cut through that. But logic in and of itself is also a deceiver and a liar. Because a logical analysis of, let's say, approaching a girl can tell you with reasonable probability that the chances of you approaching that girl and it going well are actually very low. And as someone who's approached over 10,000 women, I can tell you the chances of that girl not only liking you, but saying yes to a date, and then that turning into a good date, and then that turning into sex, and then that turning into a girlfriend is magnificently low. And you have to overcome that logical analysis, that statistical analysis, in order to just leap into the unknown and go for what you want. So not only do you have to overcome emotions, whether it's cropping up in the form of shame or in the form of the fear of death, you also have to cut through your logic, because a lot of your guys' problems, the ones who are watching this right now, your problem is that you're not emotional enough. You're too logical, you know? You're probably a nerd. You probably read a lot of books. You're probably really good with math or with science, but when it comes to these emotional, intuitive things, you struggle. It's usually the dumb, emotional guys who are really good with girls. So if that's you, and logic is the thing that's keeping you back from acting because you're too rational and you're too sensibly headed, then you need to cut the logic as well. So pretty much we've covered everything as your enemy when it comes to being fearful, which is kind of an interesting concept, that everything's lying to you and you just have to act in the way that you want. So those are abstract concepts, and I tried my best to be concrete, but the best way that I could explain this to you is by giving you a real life example. And the one that I know the best is me. So we'll go through my presence on YouTube and us starting this YouTube channel when I took it over for Chase, and the journey so far, and the emotions and the struggles that I've went through, and how fear was a blockade for a lot of that. So let's start from the beginning. The fear of death and the fear of shame, since I feel like they're very closely related. So I'm up here on YouTube for you to watch, right? Right now, we're decently small. We have 2,500 subscribers, something like that, okay? So there's a chance that within the next month, maybe 1,000, 1,500 people are gonna see this. But who knows, in the future, that can grow, and you're gonna have more people seeing me. So right now, I'm acting and I'm talking, and it's not quite live, but you're still gonna be seeing my face and you're hearing my words, and so I'm putting myself out there. So I'm not afraid of dying, but I am afraid of shame. And even right now, as I talk, I have to know that the words coming out of my mouth are going to make sense. It's going to be a logical argument, but it's also going to be persuasive. And so as I'm in the moment talking like this, I'm dealing with these emotions, and it's very strange to be so meta about it right now. But I have to accept the fact that somewhere in this consciousness, I don't know if you can quite point to it, there is that feeling of fear cropping up, and that fear of, wow, someone's going to think what I'm saying is stupid, or someone's going to think I'm a sexist, or someone's going to say I'm a misogynist, or someone that I know from real life is going to be like, hey, I know that guy. Oh, he's such a fucking loser. Look at him trying to talk like that, you know? Or someone's going to comment on this YouTube video, oh, you're a fucking faggot, or, you know, you're stupid. I bet you just only fuck fat girls, or, you know, you're just a liar. You've never even had sex. You're a virgin. All of those, I've seen all of that shit before. I've gotten comments, I've gotten messages, it's all happened. I can handle it because I've been through it a lot, but do I still have that voice in my head right now as I'm talking saying, oh, you're not gonna get big, you guys are gonna suck, people aren't gonna like your words, girls are gonna see this and think you're a loser. All of that shit is going on right here, but I'm still talking, motherfucker, right?
Yeah, boy!
Still acting. And is it the best I'm gonna be? No, I'm gonna get better. But because my goal is to be a big YouTuber and to expand my presence in this community, but also on YouTube in general for many reasons. Selfish reasons, I want to make money. I want girls to see me because they want them to be like, oh, he's cute, or oh, he's hot, or oh, he's cool. I want to suck his dick. There's a lot of selfish motivations, but there's also altruistic motivations. I want to help guys. I love getting a message from a client and he's saying, man, I got a girlfriend now. Wow, it was because of you. Or, hey, I just got a date. Holy shit, I haven't had a date in 5 months, and that was because of you. Or, hey, I approached a girl, and I was totally afraid of doing that. Whatever it is, I like seeing my clients get success. And when I get a message from a random guy who isn't even my client, he's just like, hey, I saw your videos, and I've been watching them for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and guess what? My life has changed because of you. I go, oh, fuck. Like, that's amazing. But if I had let fear, the fear of shame, and the fear of death in some very abstract sense, keep me from standing here and speaking my truth and swinging my fucking dick, then that wouldn't have happened. So my goal is to be the best YouTuber when it comes to seduction advice. And I think I stand a fair chance of being one of the best YouTube presenters in general. And I want to be really good with girls. I already am, but I want to be even better. And I want to create a situation where I have the fame that I don't have to go out and approach girls that much anymore. They can just come to me. Life is about setup. I learned that from Dan Bilzerian. If you just create a setup in which things are just coming to you, it's low effort and it's better. And why not? But the only thing that I have to overcome is someone going to make fun of me now? Or is someone going to meet me in real life, be like, oh no, he's a loser. He's not as good as he says he is. Or someone from my past who knows something dark, is going to come up and say, oh, he used to do this, or he used to be an asshole, or he's a fucking loser. Whatever it is, all these fears, they come up. But am I going to let that keep me from achieving what I want? No, and I'm prepared for anything that comes, or I think I am. To have a lack of fear is quite fucking insane, because there's a lot of things that you should be afraid of. You should be fearful of death, or maybe you shouldn't. So whatever your goal is, you need to examine the fears that are keeping you from achieving that goal and then overcome them. Now, fearlessness in general, total and absolute pristine fearlessness, that is a complete subject altogether. And it's a very rare achievement. But if that's your goal, then I suggest you follow in the path of someone like the Buddha. But speaking of the Buddha, he can actually serve as a very good example of overcoming fear in the moment. So in the Pali Canon, which are the scriptures from the Buddhist, the earliest Buddhist texts that we have that record what allegedly the Buddha said and taught his students, he was giving a story of when he was just a monk in the woods and trying to attain enlightenment. And he was alone, just wandering around, right? All you did was wander around, beg for food, and then go meditate in the jungle. While he was in the jungle, he would hear things rustling, and it would scare him because you don't know what the fuck it is. Is it a tiger or is it just a fucking dog? You're not sure. But what he said was when he gets scared and there was a noise in the woods, he would stand in place as soon as the fear came up and say, okay, I'm afraid right now. And he would face the way that wherever the noise came from, and he said, I will stand here until the fear subsides. And as the fear is rotating in my mind, however it works, however the mechanism of the mind and consciousness works, I'm just gonna watch it. Okay, fear, where's it coming from? Let me picture exactly what's making me fearful. What are the chances that it actually is gonna hurt me? And just examine it. Don't judge it. Just examine it. Learn the mechanics and the components of it. And then he said he wouldn't move and go to meditate or do anything else until that feeling of fear would subside. And he practiced. Boom, fear. Boom, I overcome it. Challenge it. Face it. Kill it. And then eventually, if it's to be believed, he attained full enlightenment, which is complete and utter freedom from fear. So if you're going to live a normal conventional life, and 99.9% of you watching this are going to, you don't need to become totally fearless, because if you're completely fearless, there's a lot of dumb things that you're probably going to do because you lack fear. So just follow the fear that is keeping you from achieving your goals and your dreams and kill that. And if you want to become totally fearless, well, send me a DM on Instagram, and I'd love to talk about philosophy and Buddhism with you, and maybe we can talk about how we can achieve total nibbana together. But that's a little bit outside the scope of this video. I just wanted to use that as an example because I think it's very beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell for all future videos that we come out with on this beautiful, beautiful channel that we have. Follow me on social media, and I hope you have a blessed and fearless day.